Tonight, the countrywide manhunt in the wake of the latest daring daylight robbery of a bullion van that left a police officer shot in the head and a 40-year-old mother of three killed.
I think we were three there buying ice cream. So the moment we heard gunshot, then one ran away. So left with two. So we're watching what's going to happen. So they were shooting the guns around. So nobody can even get close to it.
We have the latest on the police manhunt in an attempt to track down the killers.
The crime scene experts have been invited to process the crime scene as part of police investigations to get the perpetrators arrested. Anyone with information on this incident should kindly contact the Accra Regional Police Command, the nearest police station.
We have the horrifying details of indiscriminate gunshots and the daring escape in the crowded marketplace that left two other people battling for their lives.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Gasem Cement, the nation builder, as well as Vodafone. Sounds of tragedy inflicted by a gang of armed robbers who defied this crowded trading neighborhood on a sunny afternoon to rob a bullion van, emboldened by a hail of bullets which left in his wake two dead, with two more battling for their lives. This happened in the busy neighborhood of the Timber Market here in Accra. They shot the police officer in the head, who was, of course, in the front seat of the van. Eyewitnesses say the robbers bolted with his gun and an unspecified amount of money the vehicle was carrying. A 40-year-old mother of three who was hiding in her convenience shop was also hit by a bullet, killing her instantly. This was a scene shortly after the attack.
The lifeless body of a police officer hangs from the passenger seat of a white Nissan bullion van. He is still in his seat. His right hand hangs loosely toward the floor with his head hanging over his shoulders. There's blood dripping onto the floor. A thick crowd gather around the bullion van. Two bullet holes are visible on the windscreen through the passenger side where the police officer is seated. The passenger door where the lifeless body of the police officer is opened. Someone appears to be leaning over and taking photos.
Well, this is the third time in just 1 week that we've had to report on a daylight robbery involving guns. One of them happened meters away from the National Police Headquarters just last week. My colleague Master Wagba was at the scene of this latest incident and joins us in the studio with more. Max, so you've been to the crime scene. What did you see?
Well, Evans, like you rightly stated, this place we're talking about sees a beehive of activity daily because of the closeness to the timber market. So that was what was happening when suddenly this afternoon we were told by eyewitnesses that it was a taxi that first slowed down the movement of the bullion van. So a man, we are told, in the taxi stopped to buy water from this 40-year-old woman, mother of three, who sells in a convenience store.
So the bullion van stopped?
So the bullion van slowed down.
Okay.
And that was the point, we are told, when the robbers closed in on the driver, shot him first, and then moved towards the passenger seat where they shot the police officer, who was also armed then. They shot him in the head. In fact, we've seen pictures of that. Very gory. You could actually see through the head of this police officer. And we're told that after shooting him, they picked his gun and then went to the back of the bullion van, destroyed the padlock, took the safe that was in the bullion van and then hopped onto a motorbike, and then they went off. We're told that there were 6 of them, and right after that action, we're told that the operation happened just within 3 minutes, and they were shooting indiscriminately. So for people who were in the area who actually wanted to help, they couldn't do anything to salvage the situation. I spoke to an eyewitness.
What happened is that we were sitting down there, I think we were 3 there buying ice cream. So the moment we hear gunshot, pa, then one ran away, so left with 2. So we're watching what's going to happen. So what I realized is that I think they shoot the policeman, and then they shoot the driver twice, and then we saw one woman at the back, they bring her at the front, and they start beating him. So, and then one at the back tried to open the gate at the back, and then they took the money. So they were shooting the guns around, so nobody can even get close to them. Okay. Yeah, so that's the one enter the kiosk and then kill that woman over there. Because the one shooting around, we cannot get close to them. So we try our best that maybe after finishing, they will pass through this place. So we blocked that side, blocked there. So they didn't pass there, they passed that side. We took moto and followed them, but we couldn't get them. Those holding the guns, they are not wearing anything. They are just holding the guns directly. Yeah.
Did you hear the language they were speaking?
Oh, I didn't hear anything because we are almost 50 meters to them. But only we are hearing gunshot and things. And then where we are, the gun cannot even enter because we are dodging and watching them.
I mean, so from this account, it appears that not all the attackers, the robbers, had masks on.
Exactly. Not all of them had masks on. In fact, last week, when we reported the robberies, the one at Pick Farm, they had used the helmets to conceal the identity. The one also directly opposite the police headquarters, same, they covered their faces with their helmets. But this time around, we were told that 2 of them, who were holding guns, actually did not cover their faces. And some people who were around there actually
saw their faces.
Saw their faces, yeah.
How did this? There's a 40-year-old woman who also died as a result of this. Do we know what the eyewitnesses tell us how that happened?
Yeah, according to the eyewitnesses, the taxi driver who slowed down the movement of the bullion driver was getting water from this woman who sells in this convenience store. So when he slowed down, the shooting started happening. A sales girl who was in the bullion van, we are told, tried escaping from the crime scene. And when the robbers realized that she was running away, they tried shooting her. But they missed her. They couldn't hit her with a bullet. This woman, at that time, we're told, was hiding in her convenience store. She was standing, actually. There are some barrels that are packed very close to her convenience shop. The bullets actually penetrated, the bullet penetrated the barrel, penetrated her convenience store, and then hit her in the forehead and then in the neck.
Okay. I mean, so I guess I saw in your videos when we're doing this live, you actually see the bullet holes
exactly
through the barrel and through the building. There's a wooden structure.
Exactly. It also tells you how powerful the weapon that these robbers were using, because the bullion van itself, you could see the windscreen, you could see the bullet holes on the vehicle itself, and then the adjoining structures that were there.
You've also been talking to the husband of this victim.
Exactly. He was distraught. He said the last time he spoke to the wife was yesterday. They have 3 children, boys.
I was called by a good Samaritan. My wife's been shot. That is all. And returned home to see that she's been taken to police hospital dead. She doesn't talk. Sitting behind her face. That is all. We spoke yesterday in the night. Yeah, we didn't talk this morning, but we spoke yesterday night about the children. They were sick. So we're discussing their school matters and other issues. Then she said to me, won't you come and eat? I told the boys, I said, so I can't come. I said, okay, fine. Make sure you take them to hospital. That was all. Normally, I call her around 11, 12. Only to be called this morning and be told that she's been shot.
I mean, you could just hear there. This is pretty much a difficult moment for him.
Exactly.
And the other 3 children that, of course, they've lost their mother.
Yeah.
But you've been talking to the members of this neighborhood. This is a very busy place. Everybody
Very
knows
busy
Accra.
place. Yeah.
It's very busy. I mean, what have they been telling you about what happened today? And in essence, what they believe to be the the root cause of this?
Well, they are attributing this to the influx of foreigners, and they have been listing particular countries, but we will not mention that. They think that that is what is causing, the brazen manner in which this is happening, because they say that day robberies, they are not used to it, and they never imagined that this could happen in their community, which is a lot of activity daily. Many of them who I spoke to said that they had heard on the news the incident that happened at Pig Farm and the one that happened very close to the police headquarters, and they never thought that something similar would happen, in their neighborhood, with them hiding in their rooms and not being able to help.
Maxwell, well, today we've been hearing from the police on this. They are asking members of the public who may have seen something to reach out as they launch this manhunt for the suspects. Maxwell, you are the scene when the investigators arrived.
Exactly. Well, they have been picking very useful information that they believe would help them close in on the perpetrators. Some of them we spoke to told us that they are hoping that some of the street cameras will be able to assist them to see, especially where these
especially when some of them also had no face masks.
Had no face masks, exactly. And this is also a bit of an industrial enclave where the incident happened. So some of these industries have CCTV footage that can actually help. So they are hoping that the street cameras would help, capture some of them as they fled the scene, and then also some of the CCTV cameras, in that enclave can also help them, zero in on the perpetrators. Evans.
I also saw that they've cordoned off the place. Do we know how long it took? Because there's just the SWAT team was also.
Exactly.
Have you seen how long they took them to
well, the eyewitnesses who I spoke to, they say that just about 10 minutes after the incident happened, they had police officers arriving on the ground. One of them told me that he had carried the driver of the bullion van, who was in a white long sleeve that was bloodied. I mean, the white long sleeves are turned red. And he carried him in his arms, in the car, and then the policemen arrived and they actually assisted to take this driver to the hospital. It's a place very close to the Bukom Arena, also very close to the, what do you call it?
Kolebu?
Yeah, very close to Kolebu as well. Quite a distance from Kolebu, but very close to the Timber Market and then the Bukom Arena.
Okay, this is Sifia Tenge. She speaks for the Accra Regional Police Command.
Today, Monday, 14 June 2021, at about 11:30 a.m., information received by the police indicated that a bullion van had been attacked. Police swiftly responded, and on-the-spot investigation indicates that the bullion van was on a daily sales collection errand, and on reaching an area called Adedempo, that is a suburb of Jamestown, some unidentified armed men on not less than 3 motorbikes crossed the bullion van and started shooting sporadically. In the process, 2 persons were shot and killed instantly. The policeman on escort duty and also a lady whose identity the police is yet to verify. The bullion driver sustained gunshot wounds and has been sent to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital for treatment. 2 tellers who were on the bullion van escaped unhurt. The weapon of the policeman was also taken away together with a specified amount of money. The crime scene experts have been invited to process the crime scene as part of police investigations to get the perpetrators arrested. Meanwhile, anyone with information on this incident should kindly contact the Accra Regional Police Command, the nearest police station, or call police emergency numbers 191 or 18555. Further updates on this incident shall be communicated.
Well, shortly after that incident, the Accra mayor, Nia J. Soa, was at the scene, and commiserating with the family. He joins us on the telephone line right now. Also joining me is Adam Bonao, who's security analyst with the Security Warehouse Limited, and also joins us right now. Mr. Nia J. Soa, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you very much for having me. Let me say good evening to your listeners.
This must have come to you as a major shock. Also, considering this area we are talking about, very busy.
I'm very shocked at the incident where it actually took place, because, as described by your reporter, this is a very informal industrial enclave. Timber market, mechanics, shank fabricators, and all kinds of activities goes on within that enclave. Indeed, the road on which the incident happened is also very bad, that no car can move on that road at a top speed. So for such bandits to be emboldened and have the confidence and dare to launch such an attack, shoot and kill and loot, I'm very much shocked. I mean, this is a community where I also come from, so I'm very much conversant with the area. And we were at the General Assembly and saw a video that had gone viral around 12 midday, and we just checked and were told that it's true. So we rushed quickly to the place. But by then, the incident had already occurred, and the victims had also been taken to the hospital. I met the family of the woman who was killed and commiserate with them. And they were shocked. The entire community is shocked that people could dare come into that enclave to kill and loot money. I mean, I'm unable even to speak properly. I'm just shocked. Just shocked, because, I mean, you cannot imagine that robbers would dare go into that enclave. Because this is an enclave where anybody who even pilfer, once caught, I'm sure the whole community will pounce on you.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who knows Accra knows that area, it's a no-go area for thieves and robbers.
Not at all. Not at all. I think that we should be worried about the number of unlicensed guns in the hands of people, because people were just emboldened and dare to take such an action mainly because they had firearms. I mean, how could that happen around 12 midday, not even at night, when the place was very busy and everybody was going about doing their normal business? I think that our security agencies should step up a bit on retrieval of unlicensed firearms in the hands of many people. Because, I mean, nowadays, even in the community, bro, and you see people shooting in the air. You don't know where they got the guns from. I mean, these are all matters of concern. And Accra and Ghana, it's adjudged to be a very safe place. And that's why tourists and visitors come into the city and walk around 24 hours on head. But the recent happenings is a cause to worry. And I think that our security agencies are looking at this particular matter, not just as an isolated one, but for further investigation and to step up to make sure that the city continues to enjoy the safe accolade that we know of it.
At an official level, also because you're also the chair of the Security Council for the Metropolis, I wonder, in the meantime, in the immediate term, what measures are we going to see? Will the Security Council be meeting on this?
Of course. I mean, the Jamestown Police Commander, who is one of our commanders under the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, it has been on site right from the time the incident occurred and with his men. So technically, they will be briefing us on what happened. Although I have received some on-site briefing already, but you know the way Accra is, it's big and wide, and such criminals could come from anywhere or any part of Accra. So we're looking at an Accra-wide operation and let the city enjoy the safe environment that we have had over the years.
So we're expecting to see a beef up in security, not only in your metropolis, but Accra-wide in terms of more men on the ground, etc.
Of course, because some of the incidents that you've mentioned happen outside my jurisdiction, but they are all in Accra. So I think that the Accra Regional Police are up to the task, and I trust their judgment and their professional work. But members of the community are very much concerned. Indeed, people raise concerns about the honeysuckle incident that happened opposite the police headquarters. And for bandits to be so daring to come into a very informal commercial enclave, busy as it is, to rob people, and just not rob, but kill and run away, it's worrying.
Thank you very much. That is the mayor for Accra, Ajay Sowather, who was at the scene of this crime shortly after it happened. Well, coincidentally today, the IGP himself was at a separate event unrelated to what is happening and talked about how sophisticated crime is becoming and the need for the police service to be abreast of just the way bold and daring crime is becoming. Listen to the IGP.
Crimes continue to evolve in a very sophisticated fashion and perpetrated by a network of well-resourced and well-connected criminal gangs, both within the country and across its borders. This poses a major threat to human security and national development. Transnational crimes such as human trafficking, narcotics trafficking, terrorism, kidnapping, cyber crimes, auto theft, piracy, among others, require a resilient and robust law enforcement agency to effectively respond to threats posed by these crimes. We therefore need to make conscious efforts to always stay on top of our game, be able to maintain our constitutional duty of enforcing law and order and making Ghana one of the most peaceful countries in the world. This also calls for a continuous collaboration with the sister security agencies.
So that's the IGP upon Bueno Day. I want to bring in Adams Bona, he's a security analyst who joins us on the telephone line right now. Mr. Bona, so that's the IGP on the back of this incident. This is not the first. In fact, we've reported 3 incidents in the last 1 week alone. One of them literally meters away from the police headquarters. Again, somebody was shot in that incident. People made away with unspecified sums of money. Is the police up to the task here?
Good evening, Evans. Well, you heard the IGP speak. I don't expect the IGP to be talking. I'm expecting the IGP to be working. The police is supposed to be the foremost law enforcement agency in the country. And so for him to come and tell us what we already know, I find that a bit problematic. Probably it was an academic lecture he was supposed to deliver. Now coming back to the more substantive issue, this incident that happened was always maybe waiting to happen. It is the manner in which it took place. You want to look at probably 3 variables. So you want to look at
the way a manner Bank of Ghana vis-a-vis the police itself allow themselves to be used in carrying money. If you use literally farm trucks, these pickups are farm trucks. No reinforcement, no nothing. These don't have any, call them, bulletproofing mechanisms on them, nothing at all. And so you can literally just ambush them and rob them, kill the officer, rob them, and steal their guns.
Yeah, I mean, and you raised that point. It's such an important point. Even the choice of the route that was used, and as you just heard the mayor express, bad road, crowded neighborhood, is just one of those that is just begging for some form of incident.
Yes, and so as far as I'm concerned, it looks like the mayor, actually, raised a lot of the concerns I've been raising. So how many firearms do we have at the moment in the hands of these bandits? We have a national security policy document that was launched, and the forward was put together written by the president, and he launched it. And it has a baseline survey about illicit firearms, and this data was collected in 2014. It is 7 years late, and that is what Ken Dapa and his people put in this document. If they had attempted to, in fact, collect data on illicit firearms, they would have realized that and say, hang on, we have too many firearms. We've got to probably suspend everything we are doing and go into town and retrieve these firearms. I think when you called me before this program, I mentioned to you that crime patterns have changed. It has moved from the night robberies to daylight robberies. And so it tells you that the modus operandi of these criminals, now involves, tracking down their victims. And if you saw the way and manner this fallen officer was shot, they were so precise. They targeted him and made sure that they would go at him and kill him and get the money gone and shoot at other people and run. Neighboring, we have some of our neighbors who have joined us here, and these things do happen in other neighboring countries. Daylight robberies are rampant in other countries. And so do the police themselves know, or the national security, are they aware of these patterns of crime, or they don't know? I put this blame at the doorstep of the police IGP, and I am advocating that he should go. He has he's reached retirement. They've given him 2 extensions, so he should go home for more enthusiastic, energized officers who are within the 60-year limit to, retire to take over and probably put a bit more enthusiasm into the Ghana police. But what we are seeing from Paga to Jamestown, people are dying. And maybe we are talking about it because a police officer has been shot. But mobile money vendors, ordinary Ghanaians have been killed. Today, as we speak, a woman has been shot dead in front of the husband in Kumasi. And so if you go back and you want to check how many people have been killed today, probably by the use of illicit firearms, so many. What is the police doing? When was the last time we saw any serious reshuffle? Police operations reshuffle, commanders being moved left and right, nothing. And robbers are, a slap in the face. Where Evans, the mayor of Accra did mention about the one that took place in front of the IGP. This is academic lecture he delivered. I was hoping that you would talk about it too, because this happened in front of them. The CCTVs. We've spent millions of dollars to install CCTVs. And in one of my publications, I asked if these crimes that are taking place was to happen in probably downtown London or New York or DC or Germany, any of these places, the first 5-10 minutes, you will see a video out there. We are looking for so and so and so. When was the last time we saw this done in Ghana? We just installed the CCTVs as if they are dummy cameras. So, Evans, as far as I'm concerned, we are at high risk because now they are ambushing all of us and ambushing police officers. So this is where we are, Evans.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adam Bonai. He raises some critical points here, including we are told on the back of this latest armed robbery incident that left the police officer and a 40-year-old woman dead, that some of the people on the back of the motorbike who shot had their face uncovered. There are CCTV cameras all over town. The police have said they are looking for people, and you're asking for the public to help them. I mean, please, can you please share with us what the CCTV footage you have of this robbery is? Show us the faces of these people. So if we see them in town, we can help you. We can see what they are wearing. Other than that, how can the public help you? I mean, there's CCTV everywhere. Now, in every corner of Greater Accra, there's a CCTV camera. So share that with us. The media will put it out there everywhere so people can see and so they can help you. We publish your numbers you've advertised tonight for people to call and help. But without that footage, without knowing what we are looking for, pretty difficult to assist with more accurate information to assist you. And so that will be very, very needed in these urgent times. More on this on Newsnight.
Enterprise alive and see we are moving. Aye, we are cruising. Forward that from Enterprise Live. Jam, I want some more. Now